Loss to a very good NC State team, albeit, but they had 8 straight unbeaten prior to that. We are underway. Michael Laverne, the center official from Dallas in the penultimate weekend of the season. So much to play for both these teams as it relates to ACC tournament positioning. As Enzo Penoso battling with Prince M. Ponce, and off comes Trace Alphen to claim the ball. So much on the line here, Devin. You've got, we talk about the RPIs. To be in the mid-30s, you're a bubble team, if you will. Wake Forest currently 43. What's it like to play under those type of pressure situations late season in college soccer?
I was always a fan of it. I didn't like being there, of course, because that means at some point in time you'd gone through adversity to put yourself into that position, but I always enjoyed the opportunity to push through it. Kevin Hudson, head coach of SMU, feels like they are who they are, right? And they've got to push through these moments that they've had where maybe it hasn't been great in the attacking front, maybe not everything he'd like defensively, but certainly the relevance and success has always been there for the Mustangs.
And at 23 in the RPI, he said to us yesterday, I don't feel great. He does not feel comfortable where they are, so they need a win. And here's Kieran Chambron-Pino right now, skipping past Amani Thomas, looking for Jalen Mitchell, who gets his first start in 7 games. Lays it off to Nikola Djordjevic. Djordjevic earns the first corner for the Mustangs. And you take a look at Wake. We mentioned their great run right now, 5-0-2. They started 2-3-3. That's part of the reason they're in this situation right now as it relates to their RPI.
7 wins on the season, 5 over this 7-game unbeaten stretch. But the thing, when it comes down to the RPI, Dallin, and the relevance in that 7-game unbeaten streak, only 1 win in the top 40, and that's most recently against Virginia Tech. That's why the opportunity tonight against SMU on the road as well is something that the committee would weigh heavily if they got a positive result.
Pino, one of the 10 seniors honored here at senior night. And Dallas gets ready for the first corner of the match. A lot of traffic around Alphen. Pino whips it in, and he will run it back with another corner. Pino to take again. Senior from Germany. Grew up primarily in the Eintracht Frankfurt Academy, which has been a Champions League team off and on in recent years. Take again. Whips it in, loose in front. Shot is off, still skipping around. Alphen got a piece of it. And just guys got hands on heads. They can't believe there was no goal. Now, there is some appeals for a handball in there.
I wondered as to whether or not this came across the torso or if it actually hit the extremity right there. Does it come off the arm? That's really difficult to tell from that angle. Well done to be able to keep the play alive overall.
Michael Laverne has the ability to look at it. He did not. So we continue to move on to the 3rd corner. And right to the hands of Alphen. And Deeks fans can exhale for a second. Quick distribution, looking long. Nicely brought down by Djordjevic. Mitchell carries it forward. Looking for Daniel Scorsia. Over to Brock Pope. Pino. Pino now in a little bit of space. Drive forward. Scorsia. Nice move. Bailey Sparks gives it a ride. Wide. Good start for the Mustangs after that 5-1 loss to the Pack.
Really well done, more importantly, to establish possession up high. One of the biggest things they're going to have to fight tonight is that urge overall of being off the ball for an extended period of time, in theory, with Wake's control, and then starting to go quickly. The moments will present themselves for sure, especially with Enzo Penoso and Jalen Mitchell up top. But you don't want to stray away from part of your identity that has gotten you here, and that's the ability to put the ball on the deck and unbalance your opponent.
Travis Smith up to Jeffrey White. Cooper Flax had the game winner in their last match, a 2-1 win. And Bassett Umar just lost his footing. A 2-1 win for Wake over Virginia Tech. We take a look. We keep talking RPI. Let's give you a little bit of their tournament resume here. This is the first meeting we've ever seen between Wake and SMU. You see their current RPI, 26 and 43. SMU's been in that top 25 a lot. In the committee reveal, the top 16 reveal from last Sunday, SMU was 10th. And we'll talk about that more at halftime. What was your response, your reaction to them being 10th today?
Oh, is the committee listening?
They may be. Now, and again, that top 16 means you get a bye in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed a home game. And it's a big deal.
Yeah, so I would say that there's a massive differentiation of opinion when it comes to the committee compared to the coaches. Now, the coaches are going to see these guys a lot more on a regular basis. No disrespect to the committee. But for an SMU team whose best win on the year is against number 39 Virginia Tech, they followed that up with a number 46 win against St. Louis, and I'm talking RPIs overall.
Yep.
Their relevance within that conversation is just the fact that they've been able to maintain relevance in their games, and it's draws.
Yeah.
And specifically against Denver, Duke, and Stanford. Stanford here most recently, you and I saw it, all top 10 teams, right? At some point in time, you got to punch through that barrier. If you want to make sure that come selection time by the committee, you're still in that top 16, they need a signature win. And while necessarily a number 43 Wake wouldn't be it today, the continuation of positive results against teams in the top 50 would.
Yeah, those three ties you mentioned are all against teams that are currently in the top 10 of the RPI. But when we've seen it happen before, especially in this league, because the league tournament is so good and quality opponents. To your point about chances for signature wins, you could do what UNC did last year. They were more of a bubble team, and they went on a run through the ACC tournament. As Bobby Muse, Wake Forest head coach, noted to us, Wake could have the same situation, and they could win these games into the regular season and be in a good spot, but also in the tournament provides tons of opportunities as Jalen Mitchell tries to run this one down with Prince Mpansa, and Prince clears it out for the fourth corner of the match early.
Slow start to the season for Wake Forest that, because of all those injuries, took them a little bit of time to get going. Really, their losses are what are a bit concerning. Certainly, the 90 overall. Clemson isn't much of an issue at 19. VCU at 57. These are things that you want to keep an eye on, but they certainly handled their business recently. I mentioned signature wins. This is one that on your resume, on the road, against, for the committee, a top 10. For coaches, a top 25.
Yeah.
This is one you got to have being on the bubble.
Pino to take again with that left foot. And swinging ball whipped and headed down. Sarnik was inches away from breaking the deadline.
These center backs are big, 6'4", 6'2", 6'1". Those trees, they're very good defensively on their lateral movement. I mentioned that on Brock Pope pumping in, but certainly set piece opportunities coming up high. And if you're Bobby Muse, all of the injuries you've had to deal with over the course of the year, your captain, Prince Mpansa, leader of this entire group, Mr. Consistent, is not one that you want to look up and see down on the ground.
Yeah, that would be par for the course from how painful this year has been for them from an injury standpoint. They've lost so many guys. But Prince is playing his 82nd game in a Wake Forest uniform, 74th start. The senior, the grad student from Ghana, came to the States when he was 7 years old. He's had an amazing career here. Flax in a little pocket of space. Out to Travis Smith, who's back in the lineup. Missed their last match against Virginia Tech due to yellow card accumulation, excuse me. Flax trying to ride the challenge from Alex Salvo and loses out.
Prince Mpansa has been overshadowed for a couple of years. Number one, because you had the incredible talent of Garrison Tubbs next to you, right? Top pro that is certainly doing well for himself, as he's taken a step to those ranks, but also the fact that you've got all of these young players around you. Been very difficult to gain any momentum within it, and so you're looking at goals being conceded. You're looking at the fact that they haven't been able to pick up results. That's not a depiction of what his play has been on the year, though. Mr. Consistent, and Bobby Muse feels like one of, if not the best center back in all the ACC this year.
Djordjevic on it now, working with Smith. Gets end line, cuts it back. Opportunity for Penoso! Off the bar! SMU continues to create opportunities but can't finish. Whoa.
We've got weak side help here. This is going to be on the back post runs of Amani Thomas and Danny Kruger as the ball comes back across. Thomas has got to come in and put pressure on him. Danny Kruger's also got to recognize this ball's only going one place. Really well done by SMU to get to the byline and give that explosion to Penoso up top. But as a defender, you have to be better in positioning to be able to go and attack it. Well exploited by the Mustangs.
Penoso was looking for his first ever goal for SMU. Great story, a former walk-on that's earned his way into getting now his 3rd start for the Mustangs. It's a guy that told Kevin Hudson, yeah, okay, you don't think I can play there? I'm going to come anyway. I'm going to prove to you, I'm going to walk on, and I'm going to prove it. And Kevin did say it. Credit to him. He just grinded his way and kept showing up and continued to improve year over year. And now the juniors become pretty important in this team right now. In multiple positions he's played.
I was just going to say the talk coming in when you and I were discussing squad selection overall. One of the big questions for both teams, to be fair, but certainly as we're chatting right now, it's the 9 position. Enzo Penoso, number 14 for SMU, or was it going to be Milton Lopez? And I said that it had to be the speed from Penoso to help stretch this back line, create separation between Mponsa and Danny Kruger. Done it so far.
Pino was written off the ball by Monty Thomas. And we talk about those injuries. I mean, it's not just, they've dealt with them, and there's obviously an emotional loss when you have a situation like Christian Escribano got hurt and had to be stretchered off in the game we did at Clemson. But when you look at Baba Niang, Liam O'Gara, Sidney Paris, Vlad Wallen, these are all capably all-league players. Some of them have already been all-league players, and you had in Pierce Pattison, was 3rd team All-Big East last year and transferred in. These are 6 starters you're playing without, essentially.
At every level of the field.
Yeah.
Right? It's not, and mind you, it would be terrible regardless of what you're dealing with, but it's the backup to the backup. It's, Liam O'Gara went down, they got Pierce Bateson. Then Pierce Bateson went down, right? So you think you have a guy who's come in incredible as a freshman last year, Liam O'Gara. Yeah. He goes down, you think you have a replacement. All of a sudden, you've got an underclassman in Nesto Perez and the sophomore starting within the midfield, and these are things that they've had to navigate. Mm-hmm. It's taken quite some time for them to really establish a rhythm. Looks like they're on it now, though.
Sparks and Pino over it. Clipped in by Pino. Floating back post, and nobody attacked it in the air. Cesar Rubalcaba to take. Now they will set up a long throw. You see the big center backs coming forward. Pope, Owen Zarnik, 3 is in the mix. And Rubalcaba, the other center back, will big throw. They've been able to generate offense off these long throws. Now it's actually kind of fake out. They play it back to Djordjevic. So Rubalcaba, will he serve the box? He will. Finds Mitchell. Layoff. Driven ball. Penoso! What a block by Mponsa. Mitchell on it. Continuing to ask questions. Floating back post. Penoso. Salvo shot. And now another Wake Forest player is down. And because I think it's Umar holding his head, so the ref can stop the play immediately when it's a potential head injury. Man.
Under siege. A bit of a knock across the head. And
we'll take a look and see what happened here.
On his own teammate. Ooh. Yep. Travis Smith Jr. coming across. Friendly fire. Yeah. Heck of a tackle just prior, by the way, by Prince Mponsa. Just singing the grad students' praises.
More of the transfer from Dayton was A-10 Rookie of the Year 2 seasons ago. Has really emerged here in this 7-game run where they're 5-0-2. He has started every game since. And that began after that loss to Clemson on the road, 1-0. It is a hot day here in Dallas. 90 degrees right now, kickoff. So SMU's getting some water. And Wake passing around some water bottles too as their players remain more on the field. And Umar now jogs in to join them. He'll have to step off for a moment.
Well, I don't think there's any question about the level of intensity that was lacking in the NC State game for SMU funneling over into this matchup against Wake. I mean, where sometimes, they ask us to look at games and people say, oh, what went wrong? It is as simple as effort. Mm-hmm. Kevin Hudson had no problem acknowledging that we weren't good enough. We didn't have enough energy. We weren't aggressive enough. We didn't go and attack the game from the get-go, and that's not the case whatsoever here. Very direct, doing a really good job of reestablishing their positioning up high, which is something that to be fair, over the last couple of games they've struggled with, and excellent start so far at home.
At the crossbar, and Penoso, Owen Zarnik's header went just wide of the right post. Balanced play. They probably should have at least scored ones already. And this might be a turnover. Pino's there, gets a touch on it, but Thomas will win the race to it. He'll let it go out. How does Wake get a foothold in this game right now?
One of the issues they're dealing with is they don't have the ability to have a target up high. What they've done is they've dropped a little bit deeper on the right-hand side with Nikola Djordjevic. So going +1, meaning 4 at the back when they're trying to defend, to allow themselves to always have that one extra guy to eliminate the attacking threat up top. Then in the middle, down underneath, as you drop, Jalen Mitchell starts to bring himself in, so they're clogging the passing lanes. Wake's just having trouble in terms of link-up play. To me, that comes to one of the outside backs beating the first guy. You don't want your center backs releasing at this point in time, and if the midfield's clogged, you allow either Travis Smith Jr. or Armani Thomas push a little bit higher, beat that first player, and then it becomes a domino effect where SMU has to react.
Salvo on it. Back to Salvo, junior from Madrid. Big weekend in Madrid. Tomorrow, actually, El Clasico, Barca and Real. 3 o'clock Eastern, ESPN Plus. There you go.
That's all they always set it up nicely. You don't have to worry about that 7 a.m. stuff. Spain gets it.
Spain gets it.
They know. They know exactly the time you hit the couch.
Well, the real one's 12:30 Sunday. Arsenal, Liverpool. That's cute. Let's go, Gunners. One of each up here on the mic. Leave it at that. Back to Zarnik. And that trickles out. Let's tell you about some American football coming up. Week 9, our ACC Network football lineup begins tomorrow, noon Eastern. Matchup between Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech. Then Wake Forest squares off against Stanford and will cap the night. Big one. Number 21 SMU taking on Duke at 8. Each game is available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. SMU currently 3-0 in the league. They're sitting behind Clemson. They're right there with Miami. Nice touch here by Escorcia. And out off of Escorcia for a goal kick. But big game, 8 o'clock against a Duke team that's now 2-1. And all to play for. Again, that team that wins the ACC will get a seat at the table in the new 12-team playoff. So big game, week 9. Both teams ranked number 21. SMU football and football.
Didn't we just have that last time we were here?
There you go. Last time we had it was Stanford and SMU. Fascinating. With volleyball and soccer.
For once, the memory does serve me well.
You right on it, buddy. There's Kruger. Stud freshman finds Umar. Alphen, second team All ACC keeper last year. Not sure what Travis Smith Jr. was doing with that ball, but turns over to Cesar Rubalcaba. That's to Martin Dominguez. He had much action.
Great nose.
Oh, ref kind of got in the way there of Djordjevic, and now turned over opportunity for Wake. Jeffrey White out wide, sophomore from Tampa. Cuts in on that right foot. Got Cooper Flax. He can hit it from there. He does, just wide. In a situation like that, is Michael Laverne hoping that doesn't go in? Because the referee created a transition the other way.
You know, and the problem is he doesn't make contact with the ball. If he would have had to have called it dead immediately, but instead, just getting in the way of the overall run of play. A dead ball last time out. Cooper Flax about 15 yards to his right, tattooed it for a beautiful strike. His role has certainly changed a little bit this year in the Deacons lineup. You know, as he's gone on throughout his career, junior now, coming over from NYCFC. Started him really high. Excellent freshman season that saw 5 assists to his name, and just slowly, because of the necessity of needing him deeper within all of those changes, he's had to drop himself a little bit more negative, but has actually helped the build overall for Wake Forest as they've gone throughout the season.
Flax was, as you said, good freshman season. It was all freshman team in the league in 22. Played in every game last year. Now his 50th match in Demon Deacon's uniform.
They get him a little bit higher next to Bassett Umar. That's when backlines really have problems because of the amount of rotation and how clean they are on the ball like that.
Nice job by Paris Mitchell. Colin Thomas tries to run it down, but leaves for Amani Thomas. Colin.
Good right. Tight. No.
Umar. Looking to connect with Flax. Dominguez to take. Transfer from Morgan State. Started the last now 10 games after really taking the gloves from Chance Johnson. Has taken his opportunity and had run with it. Umar flicks it back to Kruger. Freshman from Philly.
Backside, Brock, backside.
Kruger. Striding forward. Thomas. Jose Perez over Mitchell's head. Got a doubleheader coming your way tonight on ACC Network. After us, Cuse and Clemson. From historic Riggs Field, the #3 team in the nation, the Tigers. Flick on for Georgievich. Was able to get it back to that left foot. Some contact. No call. Waved off. Still Georgia. That's way more contact. And there it is. And Kruger looks back like, what I do, but yikes. And a yellow for your troubles, freshman.
What was the word I used to you when you came down to squad selection? It was about the ability to disrupt in the first one. Great job by Penoso to win that first ball. And then it's just about maintaining a presence up high. One of the great things that you get out of Danny Kruger is his ability to be smarter, cleaner on the ball. One of the problems is as a young freshman, he still makes some silly mistakes from time to time. And that's one where not only did he not need to bring him down, he didn't make contact at all. He had the support there defensively. And unfortunately for him, he's handed a massive opportunity to Bailey Sparks, who out of his 5 goals this year has been near automatic from the spot. Perfect from 12 yards out.
Tied for first in the nation with 4 PK goals. And as Devin just said, 4 for 4 on those attempts. This would be huge and would be just for this SMU team, the way they've started to get them up 1-0. Can their senior, their captain, the AAC Player of the Year last year, do just that against Alphen? Cool as you like. 1-0 to the home squad.
He's clean, Bailey Sparks. Very difficult to recognize exactly which direction he's going. Notice his hips, they're squared. Just opens them up a tiny bit at the tail end of things. Got enough pace on it. Mind games with Trace Alphen. Again, coming into the night, only midfielder.
Week in the conference, the freshman's had an outstanding season. He's a very, very good player. But that one, he's going to want back. It's a mistake that has allowed this SMU team to take the lead. They're 7-1-1 when scoring first on the campaign. This thing's far from done and dusted with 7 minutes to play. But more importantly, Wake is 3-2-3. And last time they went down a goal to UNCW, they ripped off 4 straight to win 4-1 about 10 days ago. So this team is able to come back. Sparks over to Salvo.
Come on, Amani!
impressed with SMU's start to this game, but given what they came off of that 5-1 performance, this is what Kevin Hudson was asking for. He's got to be really pleased with his team raising the challenge.
To be fair, couldn't have gone much worse, right? In terms of the way that game went.
They were down 3-0 in 30 minutes.
Yeah, and those games, they get away from you. There's not much more you can ask of it.
Good ball looking for Thomas, doesn't connect. Dominguez.
I would say overall, though, Down, this isn't just about the good start. I would say that Wake's a little bit flat in some of their reactions. There's excellent coaching going on the sideline by Bobby Muse. He's asking more from the outside backs, come higher, be more aggressive. They're just not getting there quick enough. And because they're not getting there quick enough, that's allowing Djordjevic and Pino release a little bit higher. It also is allowing more movement underneath Penoso in moments like that where he's been really good in hold-up play in the flick-ons to allow Jalen Mitchell and Escorcia to release.
Jeff White on it. Don't give it a hit, Scott. Bobby Muse and Wake Forest have the longest NCAA tournament streak, 13 years. He's a 4-time ACC Coach of the Year. He's got the most victories going back to his tenure in the country. I mean, he and this program is supremely accomplished, but to get to that goal of a 14th tournament, they need results. This game would be huge.
Most victories in the country, most conference wins over the last 10 seasons. I mean, if you're a young player coming up and you talk about relevance nationally, not just within the ACC, it's hard to look any further than Wake Forest and what they continuously bring to the national landscape and certainly to the professional level.
Thomas brings it down. Kruger back to Alphen.
Well done.
He rides the challenge from Pino and gets the call.
Organize! Back! Move on! 2!
See Michael Laverne bringing it back for Thomas. So it's right by the sideline. Thomas fouled again by Escorcia. How does the senior night factor at all with this? You got 10 guys out here. Do you remember your senior night? Do you remember, was it anything impactful to you before the game?
In high school, yeah, I didn't finish college, so I appreciate you bringing that up. Let's get that out of the way.
You went and became a professional. That's not exactly a bad deal.
Listen, at the high school level, it meant something to me because of the journey that I had with my parents and certainly my coach and what it brings to it. So that's the personal level. For the game overall, no. You always want to go out and get a good result. And certainly at this time of the year where, and we hear this from the managers, the identities are set. We know what we're made of. We know what we have to do. The added emphasis of what may be a couple of upperclassmen in some of their last home games doesn't necessarily give it that extra notch.
Played forward to Smith, and he's able to skip over Djordjevic. White drives it in. First corner of the match for the Demon Deeks. A trio of subs being readied for the Demon Deacons, but first Cooper Flax to take this corner. And swinging ball. Oh, back post and Ponce first time. Flax. Asked the center back and captain to go chase it down. He does. Back to Colin Thomas. Perez. Kruger. Amani Thomas. Smith working on Jalen Mitchell. It's back to that right foot. Good ball. No threat in the end. Colin Thomas lays it out to try to get it to Cooper Flax. Now Mitchell, a little bit of space. Scorsia flips it out to Zarnik. Djordjevic. Dangerous on the dribble. Let that one get away from him a little bit. Now the subs are readying and coming in. You got number 7, Nico Rabiot, coming in, the redshirt sophomore from New York. Dylan Borso, freshman. Number 8 joins the fray. His brother Wyatt plays at Notre Dame, unfortunately out with an injury. And last but not least, Ryan Bilal, the freshman from Baltimore, played in the Cincinnati FC Academy in the game.
A little change tactically here for Bobby Muse. Watch the way that Dylan Borso on that left side, number 8 for Wake Forest, tries to find some patterns just underneath the front line. Really good in combination play with the midfield 3. Can drop him down in there as well. And certainly, as Jeff White comes to the near side of the field, his matchup against Brock Pope. See if they can go a little bit more direct on this right-hand flank.
And ball off, yep, they got him, Bilal. We take a little break of the action. Tell you about tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, ACC Huddle Crew. Get you ready for the day at Wallace Wade Outdoor Stadium in North Carolina with a 60-minute pregame show leading into Georgia Tech taking on Virginia Tech at noon. They'll also have halftime shows, pre- and post-game shows throughout the day. Back at 6:30 to wrap up the afternoon with highlights and analysis and get you set for the big one, SMU Duke at 8 o'clock after the game. Stay right here on ACC Network for post-game analysis. Bad turnover right to Pino. He can charge in the box. Shot deflected. So here's a Rubalcaba over to Brock Pope. For the switch. Salvo tried to help it on, but track back picked up by Rabiot.
If they're on a little bit further tactically, Bobby Muse, he's flattened out the midfield just a touch. Rabiot coming to the right side and Dylan Borso deeper on the right. What that does is it gives them more bodies on the width, Dallin. It forces this SMU team to play quicker with possession, and it's also going to make the midfielders work a little bit harder with the speed that you get with Jeff White and Ryan Bilal up top. The idea by them is to push it outside and then start to spring in defensively, create strength in numbers.
See if that tactical switch can have the desired effect.
You seem to be handling the weather much better this time, by the way.
I think I was mentally prepared. I didn't think about the outdoor booth last time. I had the long sleeve shirt on 2 hours before kickoff. I sweat right through that.
It's a mistake. Mistake for sure.
It was amateur hour up here. So we had the preparation mentally. We had the t-shirt. We were good. Thank you, my friend. It's a balmy 88 out here on October 25th. Dallas.
You must be so happy that there's not a single team in the ACC in Florida, because that humidity would get to you.
Well, bear in mind, when I lived in Florida, that blood was thin. I like it hot, just not necessarily in my dress clothes. Can I do a game in flip-flops and a cutoff? Is that appropriate?
I'm not sure you've worked that into the contract just yet.
No, I have not. And I imagine it would not go well if I did.
Closed-toe shoes only.
This is coming from the guy that has no shoes on right now, folks. He calls the games barefoot. I kid you not.
Oh, back post is open.
There you go. We'll change the subject. Djordjevic. Borso on him. Scorsia
Hold! Yes, Rob!
Scorsia, the diminutive Colombian, looking for Pino. Pino wins the battle. Oh, great ball. And Penoso was just inches away from making contact with that. And Salvo's gone down hard. He's still rolling on the deck, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. He's up now. It's okay.
High line!
Disallowed goes down up there. Some Wake Forest players having trouble with their footing.
Trackside, got a view, got a view!
Djordjevic can't split the D. Zarnik's pass is wayward, finds the feet of Jeffrey White. Grab you. Slow it down. She picks off the pass. Salvo drive forward.
Protect it, Nico! Right, Danny! Where's my side?
Djordjevic can't connect with Mitchell.
Hey, sir.
Blacks.
Easy go.
Monty Thomas dispossessed by Pino, no call. You concur?
And with it, I thought it was really well done by Pino, but positionally, from our angle, looked like a good job readjusting to the dominant position.
And a couple subs getting ready for SMU to come on. Number 19, Milton Lopez, the sophomore, and then also number 8, Neve Berkovitz, the sophomore. The sophomore from Israel, usually in the starting lineup, started 8 of the 9 matches, now coming off the bench here. AAC Rookie of the Year last year, had to deal with quite a bit, obviously, after the attacks of October 7th. His family, the majority were still in Tel Aviv, so it's been a difficult and challenging 15, almost 13 months for Berkovitz. Here, thousands of miles away, and trying to find his form again on the field because he had an outstanding freshman campaign, but this year he's not been able to take off in the same regard.
I would say that, starting the year injured never helps.
Yep.
Certainly for Neve Berkovitz, and just reestablishing that confidence is not an easy thing for any player, certainly for an attacking player. He wants the ball at his feet a bit more. That hasn't necessarily been the case, but this is also some cat and mouse going back and forth, which selfishly I love, between Bobby Muse and Kevin Hudson. The change that we alluded to by Wake Forest flattening themselves out, keeping the game in front of them, trying to shift side to side. Kevin Hudson says, okay, if that's the hand that you're going to show, this is what we're going to do. With the additions of Milton Lopez and Neve Berkovitz, that's about freedom in front of the back line and defensively really challenging the 2 center backs, as well as Cooper Flax and Jose Perez, because as midfielders, now it's not just about the 1 or 2 players in front of you. You guys got checking in the space just behind you. Makes it a lot more difficult to mark.
A couple subs now for the Demon Deacons. Bo Cummins, number 2, came in at right back for Monty Thomas. Cummins hadn't started all year. Started last game against Virginia Tech, went 90 because of that Travis Smith Jr. yellow card accumulation suspension. Thomas went left back, Bo went right back, and obviously got the result.
Go down, goal!
Ryan Fessler also checked in the game, 20 in gold. A couple other subs now coming for SMU. Noah Irvin, number 36, checks in the match. Talented sophomore from Phoenix. And Ryan Clanton Pimentel, the freshman from Texas. Here's that long throw from Ruval Kaba. Often comes off into the breadbasket. Again, the substitution rules of college soccer are different. Only 6 substitution windows. Both coaches have been very active here in the first half. You can re-enter the game in the second half, but if you exit the second, your day is done.
Not only has Kevin Hudson, head coach of SMU, added some firepower up top, changed him tactically to, in theory, allow a little bit more freedom and movement on that front line. He's also added fresh legs on the width. So if you're that man right there, Travis Smith Jr., if you're on the right side of this back line for Wake Forest and Bo Cummins, a lot more speed coming at you. But that's certainly one of the biggest assets of Bo Cummins that he has at his disposal, his ability to get up and down this right-hand side, both attacking-wise and defensively tracking back against Pimentel.
Cummins, the senior from Michigan, New York Red Bull Academy product. Salvo trying to find Clanton Pimentel. Freshman can't control it. Pope trying to play the channel to Lopez. Lopez and Kruger tangled up. Foul on Lopez. Sophomore from Irving, Texas. Had been their starter in that number 9 spot, but only 1 goal in the year. In 14 appearances has put that role under pressure. Has not started the last now 2 matches. Penoso getting that nod in both. Cummins plays the channel to Bilal. Rabiu. Nice job. Lays it off. Had an opportunity to wipe, but he just could not connect. Fessler. Out to Borso. Cuts it on that right foot. Drives it. Almost found its way to Bo Cummins, the right back, making the run up the back post. As Martin Dominguez takes his time, basketball season hath cometh. Our first ACC Network basketball game of the season, Sunday night. Charity exhibition match between the Hurley brothers. Bobby Hurley, the coach of Arizona State, entering his 10th year, takes on John Shire and Duke. And of course, the guy you got to see, folks, is 17-year-old Cooper Flagg. He will not turn 18 until a couple days before Christmas. He is the best freshman in college basketball, probably the best freshman to join college basketball since Zion Williamson. Could have the same impact. So let's see the first time to see him in real action, albeit exhibition going to Charity, 7 Eastern. And check it out on Sunday here in the ACC Network. That dude's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft without a doubt. So cannot wait to see. 17 years old. He turns 18 a couple days before Christmas, and he will be the first name called on June, whatever, 25th, 8th, something like that. But how good will he be in his first outing? Find out Sunday at 7 o'clock.
Start stashing those ping pong balls.
The NBA teams are already starting to lose for him, folks. 82 games to go. Irvin with the throw in. Oh, Berkovitz got a whole lot, and he will get the yellow right away.
I would say that's more so on the backside of things, knocking the ball away. Not necessarily just the challenge itself. And only on the field for a couple of minutes. There's certainly contact as Cooper Flack spins out of it. Rough on the backside, but this movement right there. Still can't kick it away after the whistle. Who knew?
Arsenal fans know. You do that, you get a yellow card, you get red cards for it and stuff. Poor distribution by Kruger. Clanton Pimentel leaves the ball and call a foul, pulled back. Michael Laverne says the foul will start the play. Turned over a dangerous area here. Bilal. White got a little too fancy. Scorsese brings it down nicely. Berkovitz wants it. He'll get it. He's got Sparks ahead. He's got Lopez making a run through the middle. Berkovitz finds himself in some trouble, but gets out of it. Clanton Pimentel. Irvin. Under 4 minutes to go in the half. Scorsese lays it off for Sparks that can't connect. Still kind of pinging around. Good use of his body by Kruger. Travis Smith takes some space. Number 10 team in the nation, Duke, on the road in Blacksburg. They are going to break 0-0. Virginia Tech was ranked for most of the beginning part of the season once they got in a groove, but they've hit a rough patch. They need a win. Duke is in a great spot and really playing for ACC tournament positioning and their NCAA seed. They were in that top 16 reveal by the committee. They were 7th.
Duke 10th in the rankings, currently 8th in RPI, but to your point about Virginia Tech, another bubble team right at 39. When you look at all the intangibles right now, what a top 10 win would do for them.
Oh, man.
I've got a nice little list next to me, and so that you can be my witness, I've actually got right next to these two names, both Virginia Tech and the University of Virginia, 39 and 32 respectively. One win against the team in the top 25, to me, seals their tournament fate. And we're talking about that before postseason play. The reason that I weight it that way is because of the strength that the ACC tournament brings to that conversation.
You're going to have opportunities, and can you capitalize on them? And what's big key, if being a 2 through 8 seed in the standings gives you a chance to have a home game in that opening round game. Cummins just kind of shrugs off Clanton Pimentel, but that'll be a foul.
Wake Forest trying to establish a much higher line of confrontation on this right side. It was Imani Thomas a little tentative so that Bo Cummins can certainly fulfill that role. And a lot of tactical changes, and one of the most difficult things these managers go through over the course of the year, Dallin, it's basically the war of attrition. They don't have the ability to sit these guys down and go, this change happens, and then you go and do this, right? You're trying to teach these guys, evolve them as people, but unfortunately, Reinald, the way that college soccer is set up, you got game every 3-4 days. Yeah. Maybe you get 1-2 weeks off. You're just trying to find a way to survive physically in order to find results.
And Kevin Hudson pointed that out. You lose 5-1. You would love to be able to train hard and push guys and really work on some stuff, but you really can't. Like, even they didn't have a midweek game, but you can't really push guys that hard because physically you need them to be right. And with all the midweek games and how thick and fast the schedule comes at you, it's so hard in college soccer to take the right time to recover and learn on and off the pitch. Berkovitz out to Irvin in good space. First time ball driven, and Berkovitz is right there and couldn't sort his feet out. Wow.
That's beautiful build by SMU. Watch Bailey Sparks. It actually came off his foot, comes back to him again. Watch his head. Always scanning. Notices the little seam, which allows them. You come narrow. All of a sudden, at the quickest of moments, Wake has to have that influx of players in. Opens up space on the outside. Well done by SMU to recirculate it back centrally. But that movement right there, that is SMU and Kevin Hudson in a nutshell of how quickly they can slice right through you, but utilize the entire width of the field.
But part of their problem all year has been finishing. Again, they are 11th in the conference in goals per game at 1.57. I think you could make an argument they should be up 2 or 3-0 in this game.
Yeah, they definitely have the better of chances. The crossbar, the other header that came back through, that moment just there. That's the biggest thing about this, Dallin, is whether it was a Stanford game, whether it's a Duke early on, or certainly what's going on with Wake Forest, got to close those.
Omar might have a chance. Gets it to his left foot. He's got Borso in space. Plays him. Borso, still him, drives it, blocked. Flipped up to Georgievich. He's in behind Smith. Ponce comes over to help. Got the cross off, but nobody there. Flax in a lot of space. Got Umar up to his left side. Got Borso overlapping there. Could be something on here for Wake. Borso's pass off.
Hey, wake up now! Wake up!
1-0 through a Bailey Sparks penalty. 20 minutes into the game, Danny Kruger pulled down Nikola Georgievich in the area. And Sparks dispatched it again. 5 for 5 from the penalty spot. First in the nation in terms of the number and accuracy.
And just coming out of break there, we were capped for time a little bit down. We were talking about Danny Kruger and his mistakes. What we didn't get an opportunity to say was he recovered very well in the final 10 minutes. Yeah. You know, that's the thing about Danny Kruger, is there is a growing process here that is taking place right in front of your eyes, where he's got some really high moments and some low moments, but most importantly, as a freshman, he doesn't drop his head and fade from the game. He does a really good job about reasserting himself back into this defensive unit.
Talented young man. Born in Germany. Pulling his trade now here. Scorsia finding Sparks. Sparks just kind of muscled off the ball. Good control by Fessler. Kruger on the ball. Ponce. Smith steps on the ball and falls, turns it over. Julian Kennedy pressing hard. It's only 4 minutes in, but Wake, your thoughts on Wake starting looking better?
Definitely more energy and also more movement. You know, what it's going to come down to is the level of activity you can get from Paris Mitchell. And that's not just on one player. You know, Bobby Muse talked about it. They're trying to get him to roam. You want speed to go over the top. You want combination play. I really like that idea right there of what you see, bringing Dylan Borso in. That's what I talked about just before halftime, but specifically the back end of it, Borso and Umar. Right, remember, Umar had gone to the bench, a little bit of an injury. The two in combination, the way that they can overload and really shift Bailey Sparks and Alex Salvo.
Julian Kennedy again applying a lot of pressure there in the press. Forces a turnover. Well done. He's giving them some little spark. As you mentioned here, SMU is 4-1-1 and leading at the break. Bobby Muse's team has really showed toughness and resolve in coming back. 2-1-3 when they trailed at the half. So in the 6 games they trailed, 5 of them they took points, and 2 of them they won outright. Umar, nice pocket of space. He's got his head up. He's got Thomas to the right. And poor ball.
To me, that's coaching. Yeah, that's getting into the dressing room. We talked about their inability throughout the season to give these guys a proper runway and then adjust as they go. Instead, you get them 15-minute window. Yeah, here's what I liked. Here's what was okay. And here's where we need to be better. And then you give your instructions for the second half. Well executed so far. Good width on the field. Cleaner on the ball. And certainly coming off the back line, much more aggressive in nature. Not as much side to side as we saw in the opening half for Wake Forest.
Mentioned before, Bobby, one of the best in the business, 4-time ACC Coach of the Year. Since he started his tenure in 2015, nobody in the nation has more wins than this Wake Forest program. or more conference wins. They have 55 ACC wins over that stretch. 13 straight tournaments as a program. That is a bit in jeopardy, though, as they find themselves again. They are 43rd in the RPI. Mid-30s is really bubble time, so they may be on the wrong side of the bubble right now. A win at SMU or getting a result here would be big as Fessler pushes Scorsese off the ball and drives forward. Still Fessler, he's got Thomas, and he just plays it right to the feet of Pope. Mitchell can't connect. Turned over again. Colin Thomas. Trying to skip through 3 defenders, he does. Gets it out to Umar. Ooh, good block by Zarna. This looks like a different weight team than we saw in the first 45.
Right shoulder, Caesar. Right.
Umar. Back to Flax. And he's driven off a defender, out for a goal kick. Second of the match for the Deeks.
Hey, set up! Set up! Hey, wake the fuck up now! Wake up! Let's go! Wake up! Including me! Including fucking me! Everybody wake up! Set up! Set up! Set up!
Flax will walk over to take the corner as Bobby Muse yells some instructions to his squad.
If I say keep your fucking mouth, guys.
2 and 3.
Let's do it.
21 here. 21.
Flax plays it short, and then it's just picked off by Scorsese, and Fessler clears him out. What you were looking for is Fessler and Flax now exchange words.
Different books. Not even forget the same page. Very different ideas from Cooper Flax and substitute Ryan Fessler. We get a lot more verticality out of the midfield now with the aggression of Ryan Fessler and allowing the 2 guys in front of him to release. He'll like to pop himself up. Just wasn't ready. Cooper Flax was primed in the corner.
Michael Laverne stops play. And 5 yards was critical.
I always love that as a player.
Okay.
Because that 3-yard positioning of the ball is going to affect the overall outcome. Hey, at least you're consistent with it, right? It's fair.
As you mentioned, Pitt now getting underway at home against UVA. If they win, they get at least a share of the regular season ACC championship. Flicked on, and Kruger will play it back to Alphen. Also, Duke and Virginia Tech are underway in the second half, and Duke has taken a 1-0 lead on the road at Blacksburg. Drew Kerr, one of the 2 coaches' sons that are on that team, along with his brother Cameron, gets the goal in the 53rd minute. Assist by Kenan Hott. This Virginia Tech team, as mentioned, they're at 39 in the RPI. They're firmly in the bubble, on the bubble. That's a big opportunity to have Duke on your field. The Blue Devils equal to the task right now.
I use the word enigma to describe SMU.
Yeah.
Confusion for me when I look at that Duke team in the best of ways.
Yeah.
Just our journey together within ACC, right? And what has been all of these talented teams over the years. You and I have experienced a complete 180 for the Blue Devils. One of the best defensive teams in the country to one of the best attacking teams in the country to all of a sudden just balanced, right? That's what John Kerr has out of that group this year, just balanced within games where they can drop a 6 spot on you and they can eke out a 1-0 win.
They've been very good. We saw them in an SMU game, SMU on the road early in this month, where they were up 2-0, and Duke looked like had the Mustangs just dead to rights. But credit to Kevin Hudson's team. They battled back, scored 2 goals, equalized, and walked out of there with a point. Scorsese picks it up in some space. Looks for Mitchell. Mitchell's on the break now. Can he finish? Off the post! The second post hit by the Mustangs today. Will they rue all these opportunities where they have not capitalized? Georgievich, crowded apple, was fouled.
A beautiful ball in. And we talked about the speed and physical play of both Penoso and Mitchell. Love the run by Penoso. Notice how he drifts to the left side of your screen. That starts to pull Danny Kruger and allows that spot to open up for Jalen Mitchell. And people at home recognize, how doesn't he do better? That's a right footer running across the left side of his body, opening his hips up in transition, trying to go back against the grain. Does everything right. That's just inches in order to double the lead.
Mitchell, the sophomore from California. He scored in big games for this team. He scored against Pitt. He scored against St. Louis, which was a big win at the time. That would have been huge. Penoso back to Mitchell. Sparks. Pinged out to Scorsia. Georgievich gets in line. Dangerous ball played in, headed down. What a save by Alfin! There's appeal saying the ball crossed the goal line, but holy cow! Alfin showing you why he was second team all-league last year. We'll take a look at the next dead ball, and Michael Laverne, if he wants to, he can look and review that. But as play goes on, it's less likely that he will. This is not like VAR in the rest of the world in terms of professional leagues where they wait for the next dead ball to review and somebody else is reviewing it. He can blow it dead immediately and look. He did not do that. SMU still applying pressure. Mitchell on it. And it goes out. Let's take a look.
You can question the bodies when it comes to injury selection for Bobby Muse. You can question age when it comes to experience. Do not question consistency that we've seen out of Trace Alfin this year. I don't even know how he gets his hand on this thing. That is just incredible talent by Alfin to reach in behind. Little help from the woodwork, but he'll take it. Beautifully done by the goalkeeper.
Senior from Raleigh keeps it at a 1-0 advantage for SMU, and can his boys find the equalizer?
And for me, he's been the most consistent Demon Deacon all season long.
Little 1-2. Smith on it. Scorsia goes in a challenge, but Fessler wins it. Blacks. Now Amani Thomas. Spins on Pino. Colin Thomas. Well done by Pino. Man, what a save.
I'll put it to you this way. It's not often you see me at a loss for words. That is
well said.
Truly, truly incredible stuff from the senior from Raleigh, North Carolina. I've had the absolute pleasure of seeing his journey from the academy ranks into the professional level with North Carolina FC and then into the collegiate level with Bobby Muse and Wake Forest. That is one of, if not the best save I've ever seen him make.
Mitchell in behind, flag up.
It's also moments like that, Dallin, that show of teams back into games when you're struggling on the attacking side, and certainly you've conceded chances for sure. But when you got guys like Prince Mponsa, Travis Smith Jr., and certainly Trace Alfin in goal, playing at such a high level, certainly never hurts to have that behind you.
Yeah, Alfin now playing in his 69th game for the Demon Deacons, 68 of those starts. Bassett Umar runs into trouble.
He's even shaking his head in disbelief.
I can't believe I just did that.
That's the one where you get a result out of this. You walk into the locker room and go, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
Which one of you's buying my dinner tonight because of that save?
Flags back to Kruger. And now you see Pitt in 21st minute up 1-0. Again, if they win that game, it's at least a share of the ACC regular season title. And that #1 seed is critical because you get a bye in the first round of the ACC tournament. Louis Samkow scored the goal. And Blacks can't get there. Throw in for the Mustangs near the Meet Cosina billboard. We get a table there in 45 minutes. Can we call ahead?
I got a guy who knows a guy.
Do you have a guy that knows a guy? Because get on the phone, guy.
I got to tell you, we have a lot of conversations, and I'm always willing to extend the olive branch. This is one that I'm done. I got nothing.
You're out.
I got Kevin Hudson.
Yeah.
You might know a guy.
Yeah,
You think he would mind 30 minutes to go if I walked down and asked for a favor?
well, if a couple of these other goals go in, they're up a couple, maybe not. Zarnik plays it long. Mitchell heads it down. Penoso in a path. Ponce recovering, trying to. Penoso tries to chop it back. Lays it off for Sparks. He kind of toe pokes it out for a corner. Bailey Sparks, second team All-American. Middle of your screen there. He will trot over to take the corner. He is the difference maker in this game. His goal in the 20th minute gives him the 1-0 advantage. Fifth corner of the match for the Mustangs. Scorsia comes short to offer. And he play it back to Scorsia. He clips it in. Headed on. Right out. Trying to release Bo Cummins. And bodies go down, but we're going to play on. Cummins has Umar wide open in the middle. Got him! Oh, what a save! But it gets in! There was a whistle, and they're calling a handball. The goal is disallowed. Wow. And the Wake Forest players are upset and confused. As Bassett Umar stuck in the net.
I remember I talked to you about the interchange of what could be on this left-hand side. Great job by Travis Smith Jr. of getting himself really high into the attack. As this ball came back across, and Bo Cummins switched to the other side. I got to tell you,
that's a lot of shoulder, isn't it?
Yeah, from our first angle, I thought it hit his arm. But that looks to be a little bit higher.
Here's the question. The ball, and this is Michael Laverne and the fourth official. I wonder if they're having this discussion right now, because if you blew the whistle before the play ended with the goal, they cannot review it. The play is dead. But there's no, I don't know when the whistle blew.
Great save right there.
Amazing save by
Dominguez. For sure, but as it comes up, see, again, that angle is very difficult to tell. What we view from there is that it's coming off the right shoulder. The initial view showed it a little bit closer on that right-hand side for Bassett Umar. Watch as it pops off the save. Really well done by the goalkeeper. And as it comes vertical, does it catch the right arm of Bassett Umar? That's a no. That right there, you can't tell. You can't tell. And recognize this. We were here 2 weeks ago. There was a moment on the far side of the field where the ball, as to whether or not it crossed the end line, all of the angles that we had, couldn't decide. I even looked at you and said, there is not 100% certainty that that's a goal. And the referee gave it to him. Even Kevin Hudson said we were a little bit fortunate in that situation to grab the second one on the night, which eked out the draw. But where did the whistle actually occur, right?
Well, Michael Laverne is not walking. He's not reviewing this. He's sitting in the middle of the 18, waiting for the players to come back on the pitch. And Prince M. Ponce, the captain, is walking over to try to understand what the situation is, and while he can't or will not review, but apparently, should never assume on the air, I know that, but if he's not willing to look at it, I imagine he's saying he blew the whistle for a handball before that, so the play's over. There's nothing to look at.
Which is, in the moment, split second, don't want to necessarily say absurd, but certainly unusual.
Yeah. Goal
scoring opportunity right there inside the top of the six, off a rebound. It's not often that you've got someone that quick on the draw.
And it's one of those situations too, because you can review a goal about if it goes over the goal line, and you can review a handball for a penalty, but that's a handball leading to a goal, not necessarily in the rules. So this is a problem. So I think Bobby's trying to get an explanation now from Michael Laverne. What's going on? And he's going to get a card for his troubles, it seems.
I'm asking a question. I want to know defensively.
Yellow card is uniform for Coach Bobby
Only question I ask. That's all I need to know. And I get a yellow for that? Because he smirks at me? But he's smirking at me. Look at him. What now? Yes. Hey, can you come on?
Well, you can hear the discussion there from Bobby Muse and the officials. Now he wants to get Bassett Umar back in the game as they have to move on. And he was asking to try to get clarity on the review. The yellow card seemed a little harsh. I mean, he didn't raise his voice or anything. It was kind of strange, but... And now Umar does finally come back on the pitch after he got stuck in the net. He's a little gimpy, but he's all right. Mitchell in a pocket of space.
Right shoulder, 14.
Scorsia foul on Borso. And now we can question what the review situation is, but let's just start with Dominguez's save. Was outstanding that set up this situation.
What's the save of the game if not for
Alfin,
wonder
yeah.
kid Trace Alfin?
Both goalies have done
5 minutes prior.
Phenomenal jobs right now of one keeping it at 1-0 and the other one keeping his team up.
It's perfect technique. You know, he's got the sliding foot on the right side to not allow the ball come through the middle. If someone wanted to get cute and try and meg, and he's got the hand coming up high, makes himself big. And in those moments, it's exactly what you're taught to do, executed to perfection.
Out to Amani Thomas. Back to Umar. Panza to Flax. Looking for Borso, just a little too much on it. All right, we'll take a break from our talk about football. The American football lineup tomorrow on the ACC Network begins noon Eastern. Matchup Georgia Tech on the road to Virginia Tech. Then Wake Forest squares off against Stanford. We'll cap the night with number 21 SMU out at Duke. 8 Eastern. Each game is also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. The also 21 ranked Mustangs 3-0 in the ACC. Duke's 2-1. All to play for Rhett Lashley's team. Absolutely huge game on the road, because if they can keep pace with your Clemsons, your Miamis, they could find themselves in the ACC championship game in their first year in the league with a chance to maybe go to the college football playoff. They could maybe be even at large if they keep playing at this level. So huge game tomorrow, 8 o'clock here on the network. Pope, good thought. Ricochets to Penoso. He tried to play it to Mitchell, but pulled him back. Djordjevic. Good ball played in. Cougar read it well. Scorsia leaves it for Mitchell. SMU creating opportunities, but still 1-0 is the advantage.
Drive, Danny, drive, Danny, drive, Danny. Double. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Alan Thomas head up, driving forward. Flax.
Middle.
Bessler.
Good right.
Ponce. Travis Smith. Looking for Kennedy.
Mark. Tight.
He finds Flax. Nice little reverse ball to Umar. Umar crowded out, trying to play for a foul. Doesn't get it. Pino. Dispossessed. Umar. He'll drive it. Ooh. Just wide. And Dominguez is a little slow to get up.
Ryan Fessler, though, what a welcomed addition to the second half for Wake Forest. He's been ground coverage. He's got such a large circumference, and then his ability as a ball winner. This allows both Cooper Flax and Bassett Umar to play a little bit higher. That in turn, Paris Mitchell, Colin Thomas, this creates more activity on the front line. It's a little bit off there, but that comes down all to Ryan Fessler within the midfield and his ability to go win that first ball.
Fessler, the senior from Charlotte, spent time in the Sporting KC Academy. Has dealt with injuries throughout his career. He missed all of last season, but really has been a difference maker in this game as he's logged a number of minutes coming down about the 25-minute mark in the first half. Nice use of circumference too, by the way.
Big word for me.
We can get radius in there soon would be nice.
And Ryan Fessler did his ACL in high school as well, just sort of followed him. Both he and a young man that departed the university at the end of the last season, Jake Swallen. Those are two guys that I looked at that just, any time that jersey was on, you knew they were going to bring it. And it's been a little bit slow here for Ryan Fessler in 2024, but done really well for himself since coming on.
He played 27 games. Fessler did as a freshman, which is remarkable. Kennedy able to turn. Head up. Driving forward.
Step. Up to Enzo. To front. Tight. To front. Squeeze. Backside, Brock. Backside. Middle.
Fessler on him again.
SMU's got to be careful. They're a little bit deep here. Past couple of minutes, drawing deeper and deeper in. We saw very similar movement against Stanford that ended up in giving up a goal.
Or so. Leaves it. Flax has got space. Heavy touch, though. And Dominguez wise to it. Good keeping. And Dominguez taking his time and no rush. Kennedy applying a little pressure. The SMU player saying he can't clear, he can't punt it, he's going to dive in his way. Pino tried to flick it on. Kennedy offside. Inactive. Talk about the ACC Huddle tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. The Huddle crew get you ready for the day at Wallace Wade Outdoor Stadium, Duke, with a 60-minute pregame show leading into Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech at noon. They'll also have halftime shows, pre- and post-game shows throughout the day. It's Alphin's off his line. A little back and forth there. Then they're back at 6:30 to wrap up the afternoon with highlights and analysis and get you set for SMU Duke at 8. After the game, stay right here on ACC Network to get full post-game show and wrap-up of the day of ACC football. Fessler turns it over to a bad area. Mitchell. Still Mitchell's able to get end line. He is. Plays it back. Penoso's header off, though. Stays in play. Pino, first time cross, scooped by Alford. How do you balance fresh legs versus how really productive this Wake Forest group has been, at least in terms of generating chances, which didn't happen in the first half?
I wouldn't necessarily say for this SMU team it's anything in terms of endurance. I just think there's a lack of aggression overall. They're willing to just sit back, keep the game in front of them, and within that, your feet get a little bit flat. There's not as much movement, and so you don't have as many opportunities coming forward.
Here's one. Penoso on it. Shot! Pulled it wide, and Georgievich is down behind the play, holding his face. He let out a scream when he got hit. Penoso could not capitalize the other way. Let's take a look at what happened to Georgievich, the redshirt junior from Austin.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you can review for violent conduct.
Which that is not.
But
it's still a foul.
Yeah.
It catches him right across the mount.
And Michael Laverne did play on, and well done, too, because it gave Penoso an opportunity. Well, it's 1-0 through Bailey Sparks' goal in the first half. The second half, we've had some drama, though, as Bassett Umar had a chance to capitalize, and Martin Dominguez, what a save. And then that was called, the whistle blew, apparently saying that was a handball before we put the ball in the net.
And here's the biggest takeaway I have out of all of this, outside of the great save, right? If you're a referee, and you and I have seen this, we've heard it from the coaches as well, this is a growing process as well when it comes to the video review. Allow that play to finish, let the ball go in, and then take advantage of the video. Instead, based upon the way that played out, whistle came first, which means the ball didn't end up in the back of the net. You can't review it, and that's what causes discontent for a lot of people. So we've got to give, a little bit of benefit of the doubt to the referee, and that this is something that is going to take some time as well. Is it the right decision? No, but it is something that after the game they'll go and review, unfortunately at the expense of Wake Forest, and they'll say, here's what we could have done better to allow this process to play itself out, because as you and I saw on the back end of that, it was very difficult to tell that actually hit his arm. It more so looked like it hit the shoulder, which the shoulder is in play, and the goal would have stood.
And now this is the challenge for Michael Laverne too, and this is where we are going through this growing process, because with the new rules this year, you can review if a penalty has occurred in the box or not. You can review a red card to see if it should be a red card. You can review if the ball crossed the line. That's been there before. That's a gray area. If they play it on and he scores, technically you're not necessarily supposed to review it. You can review the offside, but should you be able to, I guess? That's a very interesting...
That's what I'm saying.
It's a very interesting gray area, because I'm not opposed to it. If a quote-unquote handball leads directly to a goal, that should be an element.
And reminder, earlier this year, you and I had a Duke at Virginia game that had a handball infraction that led to a goal.
Yep.
The referee did review it and actually overturned that goal.
Well, the review, quote-unquote...
Came from in the stadium.
It was the stadium video board, so we're not going to put people on blast. That's not the procedure, but the call
but this
was
is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. To get it right is a good thing. As you have another sub-nade here for SMU. Noah Urban checks in. Number 36 came in for Georgievich, who was struggling after taking that hand to the face. We playing in their box, though. And you see the updated score there. Pitt looks like they are destined to claim at least a share of the ACC regular season crown. If they get 3 points today, they do just that. Casper Svendy scores the second goal. Luis Samkow the first goal. They're up 2-0 within 32 minutes on the Cavs. That's UVA's final ACC game. They have an ACC bye next week, so their fate will be locked. Currently, they are in the top 7, though, in terms of the standings, or top 8, excuse me, which gives them a home game to start the ACC tournament. The bye is for the #1 overall seed, which is not guaranteed to be Pitt, because if Stanford were to win both and Pitt loses next week, we go to tiebreak, and we're not doing all those scenarios right now. Penoso and Impanza wrestling.
That is very aggressive by Prince Impanza, and well done by the referee here. On the backside of it, Prince Impanza, he's trying to reestablish a dominant position, but watch his arms come up over the back of Penoso. But coming into the game, again, discussing the #9 overall for SMU, I said I much better like the look of an Enzo Penoso because of moments like that. You drag the center backs away from each other. He's physical, but he's demanding. You never know where he's going to pop up, and that engine is just a constant, very difficult to track any tendency.
Couple subs now. Ryan Fetzer, we were singing his praises. He's going to come out. Jeffrey White's going to come back in. Bo Cummins, who was playing that right back spot, put the ball into Bassett Umar, where Umar almost scored. He makes way for Mike Thomas. And Parks plays it in, headed. Alfin through some traffic, corrals it. Wow, Pitt is putting it on him. 2 goals in 75 seconds.
Great math.
Guilherme Feitosa scores. The Brazilian puts them up 3-0. That is leaving no doubt in getting a little first opportunity of the trophy for the year. They will have a regular season champ, which we have not had since going to the division system with 2 divisions over a decade ago. Scorsia finds the feet of Mitchell. Tied up with them and foul on Flex.
A big talking point from Kevin Hudson, SMU game management, getting towards the tail end of things, the business side. As managers will tell you, sitting on that 1-0, haven't been able to capitalize on opportunities absorbed A lot of pressure here in the second half. Trying to kill the game off. You know, make Wake Forest chase with all of those changes. Don't allow them to establish any sort of chemistry within it. Tactically, it's going to change what it looks like in the midfield with a Jeff White hire. Go ahead and exploit that space in the midfield. Push the tempo a little bit.
Mitchell in a lot of space here. Cuts it on a preferred right foot. Tries the back heel. Well read by Kruger. Borso looking for some help. Umar tried to run the channel. Lost his footing. Wow. Pitt now. 4-0. The floodgates have opened. 3 goals in 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Casper Greening again. He's got 2 now. And that is impressive. The Panthers have done to this point against the Cavs in Oakland. I guess being we have a team down in Palo Alto.
Yeah.
Palo Alto. I should probably Oakland, outside of Pittsburgh.
The expense for a Sao Paulo trip a little bit more.
Man, love that. Wouldn't that be awesome? And we might be heading that way. Who knows? University of Sao Paulo in the ACC. Borso charging forward. Cuts back to that right foot. There's some contact. Laverne waves it off. Now that can be reviewed.
Yeah.
And Bobby's making a sign right now. Bobby Muse, who got yellow carded earlier in this game, which was a strange yellow to begin with. And now Laverne, he stops the clock. And Umar's smart to stay down, to let him think about it.
He's definitely late to it. Was there actual contact? Great job by Borso. Notice how he holds the runner. Space comes inside. That's contact.
Yeah.
No question. On the right foot. Bassett Umar, again, with all of the traffic in front of us, very difficult to see, but 100%. He gets a touch on it first, and the player steps right on top of Bassett Umar's right foot.
And this is where Bobby Muse was asking simply before, when there was that issue with the handball, why there was no review. Here, Laverne's giving himself a think. He's talking to Prince Amponsa, the captain. I mean, why not look at this right now? And now the 4th official, William Tomlinson, is talking to Bobby Muse, trying to get him back on his bench. But Bobby's in the technical area just wondering why. Why wouldn't he be wondering why? There you go. Okay.
And to be fair, there was a conversation going on with the linesman on the far side. It's clear as day. The quick step up there of the back line from SMU. Again, really good job by Dylan Borso, who's actually trying to cut this back to the inside. But that step right there by Owen Zarnik, just a step too slow.
Now, does it matter that if this touch is, the contact is the contact?
No, the contact is the contact. There's a Wake Forest player in the area.
There, yeah.
If you want to talk about whether or not someone would get to it, now you're talking about Dogzo, which is not the case.
Yeah.
Most importantly,
I was wondering if the touch was too heavy, would have not been able to control it, but the foul is the foul.
Because there's another player in the area.
Yeah.
It's not just about his control. This is about the fact that Dylan Borso is right there.
Yeah.
Right. You've also got a runner over the outside, and Colin Thomas said it's available too.
And again, this is new to college soccer this year, the ability to look at a penalty, if it's called or not called, how to properly adjudicate it. Here, the penalty was not called, so it has to be clear video evidence to overturn the call. And you think Penn, correct?
I don't understand how it could go any other direction. Again, ball comes back across. Wonders whether or not there's an actual handball there, to be fair, by the way. But Bassett Umar, as he comes across, the touch occurs before the defender is able to make contact with the ball. Watch the right foot of Bassett Umar. He clearly gets the first touch on it. And then the second touch comes on the player to the other player. Left foot to right foot. Zarnik on Umar. Penalty, 12 yards out.
We'll see if Michael Laverne agrees. This is quite a long review. After taking, 60 seconds, he's asking for another opinion. It seems William Tomlinson now jogs over.
What he's trying to look at, just so everybody's clear, as to whether or not Zarnik gets a touch to that before Umar does. Even after that, I would say that you're still studs up on a player, foot on top of foot. And is that a handball? Again, a lot to unpack here.
Well, if Syracuse and Clemson thought they were going to start on time, not going to happen. We will get to you guys. The 8 o'clock game here, doubleheader here on Friday night from historic Riggs Field. It'll start on ACC Network Extra. You can check it out on the app at 8:05 Eastern Time.
By the way, there's a incredible little gathering here at midfield that if we had a big screen for all of them would be delightful for all these SMU players.
Yeah.
Just lined up trying to figure out exactly what the decision's going to be.
So Steven Zarda explains the decision, and Kevin Hudson's shaking his head, so we know what the answer is going to be. He will make the review sign. Bobby Muse pumps his fist. Penalty. To the spot we go. Now on the year, Wake has not been great. 1 of 3 from the spot. Cooper Flax is 1 of 2. Baba Niang, who is out injured, is 0 for 1. So we'll see who steps to the spot to try to equalize this game in these with 16-13 to play.
And I would say that the goalie switch that occurred earlier this year that allowed Martin Dominguez to come in, one of the biggest things, his explosivity, his ability to quickly get off the line. Now, whether that's a trailing run earlier, like we saw in Bassett Umar in the questionable handball called back, no goal, or from 12 yards out. Great foundation that's really strong that enables him to attack at a moment's notice.
Well, Julian Kennedy took the ball, the senior from Orlando. This is his 64th game playing for Wake Forest. He's got 8 goals on the career, no goals on the season. This would be a massive one for a team firmly on the bubble with the NCAA tournament looming. Can he equalize for the Deeks? Martin Dominguez in net. Dominguez! But the rebound! Dominguez! Oh my goodness! He's now made 3 game-saving saves. And down goes Dylan Borso. The crowd here is loving it. The goalies have been stars today. Lonnie Thomas kind of slips through to Flax. Jeffrey White goes down the middle, no call. Scorsia scoops it, well defended by Impanza. Now Scorsia remains down though. And it's getting a little chippy. Take a look at this.
We reference the explosion by Martin Dominguez. It's a little bit narrow, to be fair, by the penalty kick taker, Julian Kennedy, but this is full extension. I mean, that is, you'd like it closer, but still, the goalkeeper has so much work to do. Not just the one, but the second that comes back across the body. No support, no problem. Top quality save from Martin Dominguez. And I mentioned how Kennedy's a little bit narrow. When you come straight on, when you start to back off, that starts to telegraph it a little bit, because as you come around the ball, the most amount of momentum you're going to get is coming back across your body, which tells the goalkeeper, hey, this is a real good shot. This is going bottom corner.
Kennedy had not taken a PK this year, and now he's 0 for 1. Wake is 1 for 4 as a team. And Dominguez, wow, what a big, not 1, but 2 saves. We keep talking about Wake Forest on the bubble. SMU's 23rd in the RPI. They seem safe to me. They were 10 in the committee revealed. Kevin Hudson does not feel that way. There's a desperation about this team, and they played that way through the first 45 for sure. And Dominguez, who now is the starting keeper the last 10 games for this team, has stepped up huge today. But it's not over. Flax on. Out to Thomas. A lot of gold jerseys in the middle. He clips it back post, too much.
To your point about resume, if you're Kevin Hudson, if you're one of the Mustangs, you're in that lose-lose situation, literally. You're expected to win this game when it comes down to the numbers, right? So while the win might not necessarily help you, a loss would be absolutely devastating. So no matter what, you have to find a way to get a positive result out of this, especially considering, in my opinion, I have no problem saying how favorable the committee was to them at 10.
Yeah.
Don't give them any doubt to push you any deeper. You get that top 16 seed, you get a first-round bye.
First round bye, guaranteed home game. And that was the first time Dominguez faced a PK this year, and man, he stand tall. As we cross to 8 o'clock Eastern time, if you're looking for Syracuse on the road at #3 team in the nation, Clemson, that will start on the ACC Network Extra and the ESPN app, so you can lock that in. We will get to that game. Joe Malfa, Michael LaHood on the call as soon as we are done here in Dallas. Penoso brings it down. Out to Mitchell. Turned over there, dangerous spot. Umar, quick going the other way. But great recovery by Salva. And now Ryan Bilal will re-enter the fray. And Julian Kennedy gave them great energy and great minutes since coming off at the half. But now Bilal, the freshman from Baltimore, back in the game.
Unfortunately, what he didn't give him was the goal that they wanted, but I give credit to the coaching staff up out of the technical area, right over to the young man. Head up, keep going. And there's still 12 minutes to go. Two key things you want to keep an eye on right now is the level of intensity that you get out of Wake. It's going to bring energy. It's going to bring frustration. If you're SMU, you can use that to your advantage. If you're Wake, be careful. You don't want to overstep and extend that lead even further because there's plenty of time to calm yourself and get back in this game.
Noah Irvin, first time ball. Well done. Almost fell to the feet of Mitchell. Pino trying to chase it down. He does. Pass pulls Pope away, though.
Get up!
Dominguez plays it short to Irvin. In control. Yeah, we'll tell you about Duke basketball, because here we are. Basketball season starts November 4th, but before that, we got a special game for you. Sunday night charity exhibition between the Hurley boys. Bobby brings his Duke team home. Arizona State comes on the road to take on John Shire. And the now freshman phenom that you need to know the name of, Cooper Flagg, 17-year-old, best freshman in college basketball, will likely be the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft in 2025. Hits the court for the first time against another Division I opponent. This game to raise money for charity. Check it out Sunday, 7 Eastern on ACC Network. Basketball season cometh.
I hope you enjoyed your sleep because with soccer, basketball, you're pulling double duty.
My brain is really ready for this.
If you need help on any games and have questions, don't call me.
I don't think I want your hoops analysis.
I'll go to the ends of the earth for you when it comes to the footballing world.
Let's toss a Vegas F1 trip in there too for 5 days.
Bingo.
It's going to be a good November, baby. We're excited. Scorsese, look at the space. Gets on that favored right foot. Can't curl it. Under 10 minutes we go. Kruger on it. Ponce looking for the big switch. Couldn't pull it off.
And they moved Travis Smith Jr. to the far side, and the idea behind that was to release Dylan Borso. That's not necessarily coming vertical on this right side against Noah Irvin, nor is it just him coming to the middle. They've gotten more space out of it. The problem is they don't exactly have the balance on that far side with Colin Thomas because Travis Smith Jr. is staying home. So he doesn't have the support on the far side of the field. Coming a little bit one-dimensional in the build on the left side, Wake Forest has.
Now we're going to see Brock Pope went down behind the play. Michael Laverne blew the play dead. He's holding the back of his leg. We'll get a couple more subs here. I wonder if Pope may see the bench as he's limping off. One of the 10 seniors honored here for senior night. Texas native. Transferred from Bellarmine, was the ASUN Player of the Year last year. First team all-conference, and he's laboring here. take a quick rewind to see how we got here. It's 1-0, but there's way more drama than that. And here's how we got things going. Penalty drawn by Nikola Djordjevic here and Danny Kruger.
I thought Wake Forest did such a tremendous job establishing players back behind the ball, and unfortunately a mistake by the freshman. Danny Kruger allows Bailey Sparks to step up from 12 yards out. Now 5 for 5, 6 goals on this season, but 5 from the penalty mark. And then a bit of controversy coming back to the other side. Incredible save by Martin Dominguez to keep this thing out of the back of the net. Comes off of Umar's arm, at least that's the referee's decision. Wake Forest doesn't grab a goal, and then their penalty. Special moment from both Bassett Umar to create the chance, but then reciprocated by the goalkeeper Martin Dominguez to deny Julian Kennedy the equalizer.
And that's where we stand. 9 minutes to play. Dominguez is the hero at the moment, but a lot can still be determined here in these final 9 minutes as Brock Pope slowly makes his way off the pitch. He's fist pumping to his teammates. Lamar Bynum did join the game, came in for the injured Pope. Bynum, the senior from Albuquerque. D2 transfer from Colorado State Pueblo. All played looking short to the feet of Ryan Bilal. Cuse and Clemson are kicking on ACC Network Extra and the ESPN app. Nikola Djordjevic back in the game. He was allowed to re-enter because it was a potential head injury that sent him to the sideline. So you can re-enter in the second half with instances like that. So Djordjevic back in the game. Bilal in the game. Nico Rabiot, 7 for Wake Forest, also joined as well.
What is this, man? Reserve! Keep on, keep on. Come on, up! Come on, up!
Off Thomas.
Front money! Return! Squeeze! Hard move! Hard move!
Turn by Djordjevic. Almost ran into Scorsia. Good ball. Deflects. Can't clear. And now another man down in the back of the net! It's Penoso! Johnny on the spot. First career goal for the Mustangs. The walk-on, now the hero. 2-0.
Great job keeping this thing alive. It's a rough clearance through the middle, to be fair. And Nico Rabiot knows that he makes a mistake, coughs it up right in front of him. But when you talk to Kevin Hudson and you talk about the problems at the striker position, one problem he doesn't have is effort. Former walk-on Enzo Penoso, and just his ability to constantly make the opposition feel uncomfortable. Said he wasn't highly recruited, wasn't going to bring him here. He said, no problem, I'll walk on. And his effort, his consistency has allowed him to work himself into the starting rotation, produce the second of the night. And what Kevin Hudson hopes is a confirmed 3 points.
Penoso in his third career start, 21st appearance, beats Alphen as it just fell to his feet. Nico Rabiot, who just checked in the game, is not going to feel good about that one because he just gifted a good player an opportunity, and Penoso buried it. And now we've got Nicolas Mencia checks in, the senior from Chile. Mom played soccer at Yale for the Blood. He comes in for Armani Thomas. Pino released. He's got Penoso ahead. Well done by Ponce. Just got his body in the way. 10th different goal scorer of the campaign for SMU. While battling, loses out. Perfect, well done. Salvo couldn't get it back to him. Borso. Ancia. Borso. Finds Bilal, and Bilal just left it. Good recovery, though. Just back to Borso. He's dispossessed on the shot. Dominguez.
There was a ton of contact there on the Borso as he came across the middle. A little surprised and understanding that in their mind they're playing advantage. You know, did the ball come first there? Hard to tell from that angle. You hear the shouts from up here from the young freshman, Chicago Fire youth system. Another one, much like Trey Salfin, as I referenced earlier. I've seen him since about 16 years of age. MLS next tournament in 2021. Dear Lord. That's just trying to figure out if it's good that I remember that far back.
Well done.
Thank you.
There are a lot of games and tournaments, they go in my head and they're out. So, well, good job.
Here's a good one for you. His teammate on that squad, the young Becerra. Victor Becerra's little brother.
Becerra's little brother?
Yep, who plays in Indiana, and Todd Yeager.
Former Herman Trophy finalist, Victor Becerra. Played in the College Cup final. Fell, though, to that Syracuse team. 2022, and that's a foul. And a little chippy. And if you're tuning in to find Syracuse and Clemson, that game is kicked off. You can watch it on the ACC watch it on ACC Network Extra or the ESPN app, and you've already missed a goal. Clemson is up 1-0 early against an ailing Syracuse team. As Bailey Sparks, the second-team All-American from last year, gets back up to his feet. And this is a huge 3 points for SMU, assuming they hold on these final 5:20. But for Wake Forest, the opportunities are dwindling. They have one game left at Louisville. There's going to be one game at home against NC State next week, who's a tournament team. So that would be a good for the resume. But right now, with that 43 RPI, normally in the mid-30s, you are worried. And you see key results. They did beat a Virginia Tech team, but that's a fellow bubble team. They tied Duke. They tied UVA. Bobby Musa's team needs, what work do they have to do to feel good going into the NCAA tournament?
You never want to lose, but here's the good news coming out of this loss. The committee thinks that SMU is the number 10 team. The coaches think they're a top 25 team, and the RPI says as well for SMU that they're top 25 at number 23 overall. This loss isn't going to drastically hurt you. What you're hoping is the opponents you've already played hold up their end of the bargain and then run the rest of the year. And then next week's time, you have to get a result against that NC State team who's currently sitting at 14 in the overall RPI.
Almost found its way to Bilal, falls out to Cooper Flax. Now you see other teams need to do their part. Virginia Tech is one of those teams. If they'd have beat Duke, that would have helped. Well, that's final now. Duke 1-0 gets the W in Blacksburg.
I would say that if you're Wake Forest, assuming this result holds at 2-0, you need the result at NC State, or excuse me, against NC State next week, and then you need at least one. I think if they get a win next week, they don't get a win tonight. They get a win next week, they get a win in the first round of the tournament, wherever they end up playing and against whomever. Because of the weight that the ACC carries, that's most likely going to be 2 wins, certainly against NC State, against teams in the top 30 or so in the RPI. That would give them the bump to get into the one of those coveted spots of the final 48.
What does really help them, too, is currently they're in 4th in the league standings. So that's a good position to be in. Again, teams 2 through 8 get a home game to start the ACC tournament. So as Bobby New said to us, we'd love to play at Spry all day. We're good for that. So that is still critical that they find their way into that situation.
The real danger area is you go to NC State and the result doesn't favor you. Then all of a sudden now you're going, okay, you don't just need 2 wins. That's probably you need 3, which means if you're Wake Forest and you don't get a result here and you don't get a result against NC State, now you're talking about making a deep run into the ACC tournament, which if you discuss with anyone, they will say is more difficult to win than the national championship overall.
The depth of this conference obviously just got deeper with SMU joining, as well as Stanford and Cal. 2 of those teams have been ranked almost all year, SMU and And Stanford was #1 team in the nation for a period of time, although they hit a bit of a wobble, but their numbers were still top 10 RPI. It is just getting harder to win that tournament. And we'll be there in Cary, North Carolina, November 17th, 12 p.m. Eastern time for the ACC championship game. And Ponce in some trouble with Penoso. Sid takes him down. Outside the box, though. Under 3 minutes left. And there's a yellow for Ponce. And in Ponce, they did show him the yellow, so he's walking off. Yeah, that's his second yellow. Just trying to confirm. So that's, again, you're losing now your captain. This game is over. He's not playing NC State. You see him pounding his head. He knows better than that because that challenge takes him out of a game, to your point, that they really need to win.
Yeah, he knows it was a mistake, much like the young Danny Kruger in the first half. And second time we've seen that with him and Penoso.
Pino takes. He went for goal. Oh, my goodness! Somebody call SportsCenter top 10 because you're going in, man. What an angle. Top bins. 3-0 Mustangs.
There's a ton of talent on this team. Bailey Sparks within the midfield. We talked about Neve Berkovitz, the freshman of the year, but you talk about a guy that could probably tomorrow step into a pro team. Kieran Pino is that guy, and this is why. That is just so difficult to defend. And you cannot be off by a millimeter the way that he strikes this ball. Perfect amount of pace, absolute precision to slice into that upper corner. Hopes and dreams, at least for the night, of the Demon Deacons shattered. Aspirations of SMU and what could be a catapult into that top 4 with so much movement still to go on in the ACC. Incredible from Pino to close out this game. Third of the night and 3 points secured for the Mustangs.
Wow. And that's his third goal off a free kick this year. And that was a beauty. Think about this, 20 minutes ago, Julian Kennedy standing at the spot to equalize.
1-0 game, right?
1-0 game, you think you're going to be 1-1, and now Penoso, through just being the right place at the right time, good finish, and then that moment of magic. The Mustangs are cruising to 3 points on senior night.
Kevin Hudson, by the way, I watched his reaction, put his head down, shook it side to side, walked over and grabbed a glass of water. He's okay.
Pino's got space there on the left. Finally out to him. He wants more. He wants more. Blocked by Kruger at the end. And that last 7-game streak, Wake Forest has been unbeaten, 5-0-2. They conceded 3 goals in that run. We conceded 3 goals here in 87 minutes.
Coming inside!
This is an SMU team that came off a 5-1 shellacking at NC State last week. What a bounce back performance by these young men. Scorsia. Under 90 seconds to play. Pino working. He goes down, foul right outside the box. Don't think he can score from this angle.
Fucking lazy.
Okay. There's no odds makers in the building, so I think you're safe.
He is left-footed too, so I don't see that happening. Never know.
Well, where can they go from here now? SMU. Again, this game as well as their next matchup against Louisville. At Louisville, I might add, a Louisville team that's struggling for relevance. 74 overall in RPI. Again, you're expected to win this game. You're expected to win that game at Louisville. And now you're talking about a team, again, the committee feels top 10 team in the country. You know, you want to push that narrative further. Win 2 games, because the matchups you're going to get against teams that are right there on the bubble, so you're going to be expected to win those. It's that lose-lose situation, no losses tonight. You know, then you're going to run into, could it be North Carolina? Could it be Clemson? Is it Stanford? Is it the big-back wolf of the Pitt Panthers sitting right there at the top of the ACC? You go knock off one of them in the semifinals or possibly the final, you win the whole thing. I mean, the number 1 team in the ACC, you better believe they're going to get a top seed.
Yeah. Well, big win for the standings, too, as this pretty much puts them in the position to have a home ACC tournament game on senior night. The seniors stepped up. Sparks gets 1 goal. Karen Pino gets the other, the worldie, to finish things off.
I would say that this is